So a friend of mine suggested I share this story, and I consider this to be really embarrassing, my least favorite topic, but it's something that people like to ask me about a lot. And so I'm going to share this story with you one time, and I hope that it helps you, because I'm going to share all the things that helped me and how this changed my life. I guess it's been about 4 or 5 years ago. I used to be a lot heavier, and it's something that's extremely embarrassing for me, and I consider it to be some of the most painful times in my life. And honestly, it was all just because of the way I looked. Like, I just didn't feel like myself. And that's why you may have heard me say before that I think that gaining weight or being, you know, not feeling like yourself is truly the worst thing that could happen to you or has happened to you. And I have been through a lot of things. You know, I've been raped, beaten, robbed, left to die, you know, all kinds of crazy things. And out of all of those things, I consider gaining weight to be the worst thing. If that doesn't make sense to you, how do I explain how that would make sense? I didn't feel like it was my own body. You know, I felt like I was trapped in something that I couldn't take off, that wasn't me, and everyone judged you for it, and I saw the judgment all the time. So I didn't really understand things about food, I guess, is how I can explain it. And a really good friend of mine introduced me to Herbalife. And you know, you're always hesitant when you hear things about products that are supposed to help you lose weight or make you healthy, and you're kind of like, oh, it's just another one of those things where people are gonna try to make money off of you. But I can honestly say, and no one's paying me to say this, I wouldn't just say this if I didn't mean it. I'm not that kind of person. Herbalife completely changed my life. I honestly feel like it was magic. And I don't want people to take it as you take this and then you're just gonna lose weight, because nothing's like that. You're gonna have to work for everything in your life. Nothing just comes to you, at least anything worthwhile. And if you use the products correctly and you're motivated and this is something you really want, then yes, it can absolutely work for you and you will absolutely get the results you want. And you know, it may take a long time. I think it took me a good 3 years until I even felt like I was kind of where I wanted to be. And I never got there. I never did, because what I needed to have done was surgery after that, which I have not had. I've had no surgery whatsoever besides my wisdom teeth, if that counts. So Herbalife, if you don't know about it, is pretty much just like protein shakes with vitamins, and it's meal replacement. So I'll take one of these. This is the healthy meal thing. And I like this flavor, this cafe latte. I think that they come out with a lot of different flavors. You know, they have this banana caramel and all kinds of ones. But I think that if you stick to just like basic flavors, like chocolate and vanilla and latte, you're not gonna get tired of them like the other ones. Like, I got tired of all those specialty flavors very quickly, you know? So now I just stick to the basic ones. So I go to this one a lot, this latte one. So 2 scoops of this, and then you take your protein powder, 1 scoop of this. So you put a little bit of water on the bottom of the glass before you put it in, so it doesn't stick on the bottom and waste most of your stuff. Sorry, I have the dishwasher going. I don't know why they do it separate, but they do. I guess if someone wants to add in more or less, I don't know. And then I just fill the rest of it with water. And that's what I drink every morning. Also, for women, here's something I learned. Take cranberry pills every day. I used to get bladder infections all the time. And then when I started taking one of these every day, I I haven't got a bladder infection since. So this is kind of a miracle. This is my vitamin thing that I keep in my purse. It's always in my purse. And this is what I go into every day. And these are the vitamins that I take. I take one of these with every single meal. And I make it a habit to do this. You know, a regular, and this is part of what it is. I think you have to do both. I think you have to do these and you have to do this for it to work. Okay? You can't just do this and then not do this. It's a package deal. So I decided that I had to make a habit of things. You know, this had to be a lifestyle change. This can't just be something we do for a little while, we get to where we want to be, and then we can go back to all the things we did before. Because if we go back to all the things we did before, we're just going to end up where we were before. So when I first started Herbalife, I kind of wanted it to be a secret because I wasn't really sure it was going to work. And I didn't want people asking me about it. I didn't want to feel pressure. I just kind of wanted to see if it really worked if people noticed it. And so for a long time, it was kind of like this little secret thing I was doing. I would sneak downstairs and make my protein shake every morning, take my vitamins and kind of put it away and not tell anybody that's what I was doing. So for the first 30 minutes when you wake up, make sure you do your protein shake. Now, I make it a habit to be the very first thing I think to do when I get up is to go downstairs and make a protein shake with Herbalife. And I just mix it with water, and I think that if you just mix the water one time with it, it gets too thick and you don't want to keep drinking it. So what I do is I mix it, I take a couple drinks, I add more water. As it gets a little bit lower, I add more water. And I just keep adding water to kind of dilute it, but I'm still getting the same, you know, amount of stuff in me. I think that if I just straight drank it, it would be too thick. So that's something that I do. I make sure I take all the vitamins. I always carry the tray around with the vitamins, and I take it before I eat anything, okay? I make sure I take all of it. I make it a habit to, well, now, if I don't have my vitamins before I eat, I feel like something's off. I'm missing something because I've made an effort to make it a habit. I also decided that I was going to cut soda out of my life. I think that soda is poison. I think that soda down the line is going to end up being something we discover leads to health problems, you know? And we have to think of like food is nutrition and way to fuel our body, not a reward, not entertainment. You know, we're not drinking this because we love the taste, you know. You need to think, drink water because that's what hydrates your body the best. You know, not soda that has tons of sugar and all these chemicals that we don't even know what they are. I don't eat fried food because honestly, I stopped enjoying it after eating it. Like after you stop eating it for a while, you stop liking it, you know, and you start thinking, you know, they just added all this extra nastiness to it just, you know, to make your body nasty is what you start thinking. And I'm kind of a silly person. And so one of the things that I did that may seem kind of silly to motivate myself or keep myself on track was I decided that certain things were designed to destroy your life, just designed to make you look like shit. And that, you know, the government wanted to do this to control people because if everyone's overweight and feel nasty, then you don't feel as good about yourself and they're easier to control. Now, I just made this up in my mind. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. I don't have the answers, but that's just something I convinced myself of. So I've decided that fast food, most of it, I mean, I'll eat an Egg McMuffin, you know, or something like that, is designed to control you and ruin your life. And that's why there's so many of them. That's why it's cheap, because everyone needs to eat. You're out, grab something cheap, you know, whatever. And people aren't thinking about the amount of calories or all of the extra chemicals. I'm gonna break it down for you. So first thing I get up, protein shake, vitamins. Then I do all my other stuff, my shower, my hair and makeup, get all ready. Then I would make my own food, okay? I would buy big things of salmon at Costco, okay? And I was cutting them up into little pieces, like, you know, portion size, and putting them in Ziploc bags and putting it in the freezer, okay? So I was eating salmon and vegetables every single day, and I wasn't eating anything else. Okay, So I'm gonna show you my freezer, but first, you're gonna find this interesting here. This is the advertisement from the 2nd annual Vagina Beauty Pageant. Now there's Mr. He used to live here with me. We lived here for 10 years. But I'm gonna show you this. Here's my freezer. And see how I've done this with the salmon? I've put, you know, this is enough for me for lunch. And I made a bunch of these from all those Costco salmons that I cut up. You know, there's a thing of chicken in there and shrimp and all that. So you see the skulls here from the tequila bottle skulls, right? And we're gonna come right over here. And they're right here, displayed on my dining room table. Just a random thing I'm sharing with you. Once a week, I'd eat something else, but every other day, that's what I was doing. So every day it was baking salmon. I'd take the salmon out of the freezer that I had already pre-made, and I'd put it in the oven, and I'd cook that for 30 minutes, and then I would cut up an avocado, or I'd cut up a green pepper, and I would just have that as the side. And I did that every single day for years. And there would be like, you know, once or twice a week, I would be at a restaurant or at my family's house, and I would have something different. And honestly, like, when I had things those different days, I could feel the difference in myself. Like, this food wasn't as healthy, or this food wasn't as good as when I was just doing the salmon and the vegetables and the protein shakes. So then it was like I kept trying to pump it up to more and more healthiness, you know. So I went and bought a NutriBullet, and then I started doing these drinks where I would take all kinds of vegetables that you wouldn't normally want to just eat because they don't taste good. But when you blend it up, you can drink it really quickly. And you don't want to let those drinks sit either, because they start getting nasty if you let them sit. So it's not a good idea to just put them in the fridge and have them later. So I was just doing like almond milk and kale and spinach and avocados with fruit. You know, I was getting bags of frozen fruits like strawberries and bananas, and I was blending it all up, and I would drink that and eat my salmon, and that's what I did for years. Now, you know, I've been a little bit more relaxed on that because I don't really want my house smelling like fish all the time and things like that. And I kind of want to get back on track because I did feel 100 times better then than I do now. So I will say this, and this is embarrassing for me, but I'll share it to be helpful. I was a size 16 years ago, and now I'm a size 4. And I want to get to a 2. I had been a 2 and I gained a little bit of weight, and I'm kind of feeling sick about it. So I need to get back on track. Because a 2 was, I felt like my true self. That's my real self. And I also kind of think that alcohol blocks weight loss. I'm not an expert. You know, you don't hold me to it. So I tried not to drink alcohol very much too. And it was just very strict. And I think that also making it so you did things at a certain time, so your body was used to it, helped too. So I think the other factor in this whole transformation was the way that people treated me. And, you know, and part of me always kind of suspected that guys wouldn't date me, or people treated me differently because I wasn't teeny tiny, you know, I was considered bigger. Yeah, so I think something else we need to talk about is the way that people treat you. You know, and I learned that the hard way. And it was very disappointing what I discovered from that. You know, I did notice there was times when guys, I'd talk to them and I would feel like they weren't really that interested, and deep down I just knew, excuse me, that it was my body. And I didn't want to believe that. And now that I have lost weight and I dress up and I try to be all glamorous and dazzling and all that, I noticed that I get a completely different reaction. Now, do I think that's because I'm dressed up? No, I don't. I totally think it's being thinner. I think that our society values thinner people over bigger people, and that is wrong, and it shouldn't be that way, but it is what it is, you know? We also value more attractive people better than ugly people, and that's just natural. When I started losing weight and it became noticeable to people, and people that I've seen and known for years, and they all started treating me differently. Every person in my life treated me differently. So disappointing. You guys have broken my heart from that. And as much as, you know, saying, oh, you look great, wow, this and that, kind of hurt. It kind of hurt because it was like saying, wow, you're actually attractive now, you know? Oh, I'm attracted to you now, but I wasn't before, you know? And that's really what you're kind of saying. Then I started noticing that guys that I had known for years and friends of friends started hugging me that never hugged me before. Now, people want to hug me, you know? Oh, because you're attracted to me now and you weren't before? You know, I think about that every time. I started feeling like guys that would have never looked at me before, you know, attractive, popular guys, all of a sudden wanted to know who I was and started talking to me. And in the back of my mind, as much as I'm flattered and, you know, I guess I'm one of you now, it kind of was like, oh, well, this isn't really about me. This is just about the way I look. And you wouldn't have come up to me 4 years ago, but you're coming up to me now, and I know exactly the reason. There's even guys that I was interested in, and we hung out, and, you know, it seemed sort of like it was a little bit of a secret, you know, like, oh, well, they made other excuses, you know, for why they wouldn't date me. And now that I've lost weight, it's like, oh, you're not the same person and all this and that. No, I'm absolutely the same person. I'm the same person I've always been. I just lost weight. That's it. You know, changed my hair color, you know, do my makeup a little bit differently. Maybe I'm a little bit more glamorous because I can wear clothes now that I want to wear, and I feel better about myself. But I'm still the same person inside that I've always been. I'm trying to think of advice and things I can share with you to help you with this. I think that having mixed nuts around, a can of mixed nuts, is a very good snack. Almonds, they're very filling. I also decided that every time I drove by fast food restaurants, I would tell myself it was gross and it was poison. So in my mind, I'm kind of singing a little song like yuck, 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 nasty, 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 as I drove by. I know I'm silly and weird or whatever, but that's something that I used to do. I also think that me being isolated a lot helped. You know, I don't have a lot of friends. I go out to events sometimes, but I'm mostly alone, so I didn't have a lot of influence from people trying to get me to eat food, I guess, and that probably did help. I don't have children to want to eat all this stuff around me that I shouldn't be eating. I don't. So even though this is my least favorite topic, I want to help people ultimately. So I will answer questions, and like and subscribe if you want to see more about my life and all of the crazy things that go on, because there's a lot of craziness. I still haven't even gotten to share my my full story about the SWAT team swarming my house and breaking down my door. But totally happened, and as soon as my court case is over with, I will absolutely be telling you that story. And technically now my house is a crime scene. But anyways, until next time, like and subscribe. You guys are gonna need to start telling me what you like. You know, if you like seeing me out the club, you want me to sit down and talk to you, you know, if you have any questions, ask me. That's what I need to know. I can't just be blindly going through life with you guys spying on me and not knowing what you want, you know. I'm letting you spy into my life. Take advantage of it, really.